Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
All right, we're still in Helsingborg. Yay! And today we are at Skip Bar.
Skip Kitchen Bar, I think it's
Skip Kitchen and Bar, right. I did not look at their menu, and I have no idea what it is that they serve here.
Me neither.
Based on the clientele, most people are here to drink, or at least they are at this time. This is a really nice location. I've never been here before. It's right off of the main drag on in Helsingborg.
Very spacious.
Yeah, extremely spacious. And actually their beer menu is really nice. It's a bit more eclectic than a lot of places that we've been to. So when we were at Benchwarmers, it was primarily Benchwarmers beers with a couple of odds and ends. And here, it's like more of a smorgasbord of choices.
It's weirder here, at least. So
yeah.
One of the beers is from a brewery. That's the first time I've ever tried them. It's Polish.
Oh, they're Polish. Okay, I didn't know where they were from.
But we'll get to there. But just the fact that we're drinking beer from a brewery I've never heard of or tried means that it is quite weird.
Right. I mean, just
and I like that.
So they got Finnish beers, they've got American beers, and they've got Polish beers.
Yes.
That's a nice collection of different styles and types. And German beers.
Yes.
Not German beers in the Rausch and Warsteiner
They have
style.
Fraugruber.
They have Fraugruber, which is like the modern German beers, which is really one of our favorite breweries. In fact, we came to get the Fraugruber beer, but they just put it in the cooler, and it was still really, really warm. So we're like, well, let's just try something else instead. So
yes,
I went with two beers. I'm going to go ahead and unveil them here since it's already in the show notes. It's Space Cake from Clown Shoes.
Yep.
And I know you're a bit of a Clown Shoes fan.
I do like Clown Shoes.
Well, we've had this conversation in the past.
Yeah,
You've been quite the Clown Shoes aficionado at one point. Maybe you backed off a little bit from that corner, but I remember in the past you really loved using Clown Shoes.
Yeah, especially their specialties. Some of their regular assortment have gone downhill. But yes, I think Clown Shoes is a solid brewery.
And we don't get as much as we used to. For a while there, we were getting quite regular releases, at least like 4 or 5 a year in Systembolaget.
Yes.
And we haven't really had one in quite some time. I'm not sure what happened with the importer there or what's going on. Maybe we'll see an uptick with Corona, and too much beer and not enough resources to sell it in. And then the other is from a Polish brewery we have called... Another is from a brewer we have called Funky Fluid, and the Freaky Strata Hazy IPA. All right, so let's start with the Clown Shoes beer.
Yes. The Space Cake.
The Space Cake.
So I've already tried it. I sipped it while you were talking.
Yeah.
It's a very sweet IPA. It reminds me of how West Coast IPAs used to taste in like 2009, where it's so malt heavy.
It's so caramelly and malty, and this is one of those. This takes me back to the time when I'm kind of like, I don't understand why people like double IPAs. They just taste like bubble gum. And they taste so sweet and malty and caramelly.
And it's so great. So Great Divide Hercules is a double IPA from Great Divide that tastes exactly like this.
Yeah.
It almost borders on barley wine.
It truly does. It's a 9%, and you're right. This is just one step away from barley wine. And this is what I used to hate, but now I kind of enjoy.
Because you've had so many other sweet beers.
Well, no one does this style anymore, really.
No.
It's kind of like a throwback to a bygone era of 3 years ago.
Or more. It really sticks out. And I before we started recording, I almost said to Stefan, when I had sipped it, I almost said, I'll save it for the episode. This is kind of nostalgic for me.
Yeah, me too.
Where I used to, all the double IPAs we got from the States way back tasted like this. They were so caramelly, sweet, malt forward.
Yeah.
And I liked them. I liked them then and I like it now. But we can't get a beer like this anymore.
This does not exist in the European market. No one's making this type of double IPA anymore.
No, I don't know a single European brewer that makes a beer like this.
No, and what I gotta say is, I kind of like it, honestly. It's really refreshing and different in a way that it wasn't 3 to 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a little boozy. It's very sweet. It's very malt forward, caramelly. It's a refreshing change.
Yeah.
I have to admit. I think when all you were getting was this, it became rather cloying and sweet and obnoxious.
Yes.
And it's amazing what time does and how it changes the experience.
Yeah, so I'm giving this a strong 4.
I am right there with you. I super enjoy this beer. It is a solid 4.
And you would not have given this that high of a rating in the past.
Honestly, in the past, I probably would have given it a 3.5.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the beer has changed. I think it means that my expectations have changed, and the way that I'm enjoying it has changed, and it maybe matured a little bit. Because I do remember a lot of these beers coming out of like Dogfish Head and
yes, they're masters of this barley wine triple IPA.
I mean, like
territory.
Kind of Pliny is a little bit like this, and a lot of your West Coast IPAs were kind of along this line. So I'm really enjoying it. So it's nice to kind of revisit some classics in there.
Yeah, Stone used to do double IPAs that tasted just like this.
Exactly. And this is, so I think the first time you checked it in was 2015.
Yeah.
And it's been 5 years, and definitely things have shifted. Which takes us to our next beer, which is a 6.4% hazy IPA. Technically, it is just a IPA, not a double IPA or anything like that.
Ha! I say, this is a New England. Just looking at it, just tasting it, it's so New England that when you say that it's marked as just a regular IPA, I am almost offended for...
it says hazy.
Okay, it says hazy on the can. Yeah. So I like New England IPAs. I like the fruitiness. I like the weirdness. I have a number of friends who dislike New Englands. One of them, he says it tastes like Swedish liver paste. I've never been able to try that. And Nathan, if you're listening, hello Nathan. But others just hate on the style because it's not a hoppy IPA. It's not. It's very sweet and fruity and but sweet in a completely different way than the clown shoes. Well, it's not caramelly sweet.
No, it's very, very different in that. Well, this actually uses Strata hops as its main hop, right? But it's got Strata, Galaxy, Mosaic, Citra, Amarillo. It's a lot of hops.
So now beer is getting into the territory where wine is. So in Europe, you're allowed to call a wine a single grape if none of the other grapes are more than 2% of the total amount of grapes. So what every mass producer of wine does is that they put 2% of like 50 different hops. Done. You're 100%, and you can call it whatever you want. Okay. You can say that it is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon because you don't need to disclose a hop that's 2% or lower of the mass volume. So this is obviously not a Strata beer if it has Galaxy and everything.
Right. Well, what's interesting is it says Strata hops, which smell of strawberries, passion fruit, and grapefruit. So
I kind of
smell
agree.
this beer.
Yeah.
Do I get strawberry, passion fruit, and grapefruit?
Passion fruit and grapefruit, yes. No strawberries.
Yeah, I don't really get strawberry, but I do get some passion fruit and some like grapefruit pith, like the rind kind of the grapefruit.
Yeah,
and like
sure.
The red grapefruit, not the yellow grapefruit. But it's quite nice. I love the color. It's super hazy. It's so very, very drinkable. I mean,
it's great. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's light, it's smooth, it's super easy to drink. Like I said, it was 6.4%, so it's not It's not your 8-9% you get quite often with these hazy IPAs. I think it's really good. I'm super excited about this, and it's always nice to find a new brewery that you've never heard before. And of the 4 Freaky Fluid beers they have here, this was the 3rd highest rated beer that they have. So they had 2 IPAs and they had 2 sour Goza whatever concoctions. They were both more higher rated than this one. But I think it's a nice compare and contrast between the 2 beers of old versus new, kind of.
It's very interesting because I'm giving this one the same rating. It's a 4.
Yeah.
But for
completely different reasons.
100% different reasons.
Yeah.
There's very little overlap between these 2 beers.
I mean, it's a completely different taste experience between the 2. Whereas the Freaky Strata Hazy IPA is very hop forward and very a little more aggressive, but the finish is very clean and neat. The Clown Shoes Space Cake is a lot more rich and complex and lingering in its in mouthfeel and stuff. So, I mean, both very, very good beers. Very interesting examples of what you can do with the IPA style and how you can push it into different areas and what it can do. But yeah, both are very good beers.
Definitely. I'm really glad. So Stefan actually surprised me with the Clown Shoes beer. We were talking about beers when we were walking towards Skip, and Clown Shoes wasn't really in the discussion. So when he brought it, I was like, Clown Shoes. We weren't really. I'm game.
Yeah.
And
well, for me, Clown Shoes is always going to be a given. It was what the other beer was going to be.
Yeah.
I had always planned on having the Space Cake.
He just didn't tell me, and I'm happily surprised.
Yeah.
This place, it's good. It's getting more and more packed now.
It's really filling up. Let's wrap it up. I think it's starting to get a little too loud, and we'll see how the audio quality might be a little sketchy.
Audio quality.
Yeah. So you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. We are Pod Syndicate.
Instagram?
Instagram, yes. And wherever you can find fine quality podcast. Until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.
This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.